All right, the court has reviewed the verdict form. I'll note that all counts have been properly marked, as well as the verdict form's been properly dated and signed by the foreperson. The next step then is Mr. Daybell, if you and counsel would please rise, I'm going to have the clerk read the verdict.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho and in for the County of Fremont. State of Idaho Plaintiff versus Chad Daybell Defendant, case number CR 22211623. Verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Chad Daybell not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception? Guilty. Question number 2. In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, is Chad Daybell not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan? Guilty. Question number 3. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Chad Daybell not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Guilty. Question number 4. In regards to count 4 of the amended indictment, is Chad Daybell not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Guilty. Question number 5. In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Chad Daybell not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Guilty. Question number 6. In regards to count 6 of the amended indictment, is Chad Daybell not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Guilty. Question number 7. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, is Chad Daybell not guilty or guilty of insurance fraud? Guilty. Question number 8. In regards to count 8 of the amended indictment, in regards to count 9 of the amended indictment, is Chad Daybell not guilty or guilty of insurance fraud? Guilty. Dated this 30th day of May, 2024, and signed by the presiding juror.
All right, Madam Clerk, thank you for reading the verdict. At this time, I'm just going to collectively ask the jurors, all of you, is this in fact your unanimous verdict on each of those counts? Very well. At this time, I'm going to inquire if the parties wish to have the jury polled. Does the state wish to have the jury polled?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Does the defense, Mr. Pryor, wish to have the jury polled?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very well, then. I'm going to direct the clerk to record the verdict. At this time, then, this does conclude the guilt phase of this trial. Because the defendant has been convicted on counts of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, the state has filed a notice of intent to seek the death penalty, and so a second phase of this trial, called the sentencing phase, will be taking place next. We're going to take a recess at this time for approximately an hour. We will come back on the record and begin with the start of that sentencing phase of the trial. I would like to remind everyone that this courtroom conduct order is still in application throughout these proceedings. Thank you all for complying with that. We are going to take that recess at this time. Mr. Daybell is to remain in custody at this time for the commencement of the sentencing phase. And with that, thank you all, and we will be in recess.
All right, please.
Well, there you have it. Guilty on all counts. Chad Daybell, most significantly, of course, in the murder of all 3 people in the crimes in which he is charged. The murders of Tylee Ryan, a teenage girl who disappeared in 2019. She disappeared on September 9th. On September 23rd of that same year, it was J.J. Vallow who disappeared. and both of their bodies were later found buried. And then Tammy Daybell, also guilty of her murder, Chad's ex-wife. One thing that just brings home the significance of a situation like this, to me at least, is that in talking about J.J. Vallow, we keep saying J.J. because that was his name. That's what he went by. But his full name was Joshua Jackson. And you realize that you have a young boy who never got a chance to grow up. Was he eventually going to be Joshua Daybell or Joshua Vallow and go on to do good things with his life? Same thing with Tylee, and Tammy was young as well to die. So, guilty on all counts. The sentencing phase, the judge said, starts in an hour. I'm unfamiliar with all the rules of courts in Idaho, of course, and so not sure if that means they're actually going to start conducting that entire phase of the trial right away, or if that means that they're going to do some scheduling, set forth some of the preliminaries, and then that would be postponed till later. Often in trials that is the case. I don't know in this case if that is. So we're going to keep you updated. We're going to be on the news live at 4 and 5 and 9 tonight. And if you're curious before then, we'll have all of the updates that we get online as well on fox13now.com and our social media feeds. For now, we'll go back to regular programming.